Yes, it's a bike race, but this is also a political campaign. Don't give these people a reason to hate you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. Don't give them a reason to hate you. And if that's too strong for you, don't give them a reason to not like you. And I'll go a step further, and this is the most important part. Don't give them a reason to question you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every day by Ketone IQ. Talking about stage 19, 19. Alain?
Stage 19, from Embrun to Isola 2000. From Embrun to Isola 2000.
That's right. Stage 19, yet again, won by Tadej Pogačar. His fourth stage win in this Tour de France. I think we got to talk about it. I know we have to talk about it.
Dark day for American cycling.
Oh, that's a big statement.
Yeah, I mean,
America's had some...
absolutely no reason why that happened, but we can dive into it.
We do. Just be...
brace yourself.
Just brace your... we have some strong views on this. To take nothing away from the exceptional athlete that Tadej Pogačar is. He's the best rider in the sport. But we'll get into all that. I am sort of at a loss for words. Nah, that's too strong of a statement. But I just got a little blood dripping out of the top of my head because I was scratching my head so hard. And I'm going to get into this. And y'all can sit around and say, well, why should he talk about this? Well, I will argue that I'm uniquely suited to talk about this. But before we do, today's show brought to you by Zwift. Zwift's new smart bike, Zwift Ride, is the first smart bike designed by Zwift for Zwift. There was a whole lot of Zwift in that. That means it's packed with features that help you get the most out of Zwift and your indoor ride. Zwift really did think of everything when it came to the features of the Zwift Ride. From a tray integrated to the bars to store your ride snacks or your phone, all the way to the frame key. We showed that frame key in the video the other day. And now I love, it's like you open a pair of AirPods. Like when you close, like it's one thing, when you close it, y'all feel me?
Yeah.
It just goes tick. Like, I don't know. That's pretty sexy. The same thing with the key. Like you put it back in there, it goes tick. I was like, damn. That was amazing. The only tool that you need to build and adjust the bike. So that means if your multiple family members want to ride it, that one tool adjusts the entire bike, folks. And when you're done using it, you just go tick. Zwift to put all the work in so you don't have to. Practically the only thing that Zwift won't do for you is turn the pedals. Well, that would be something.
That would be.
That would be something. Get yourself on over to Zwift.com now to learn more and buy the Zwift Ride for only $12.99.99. We're at Zwift.com. Also today brought to you by Wahoo. Wahoo bike computers are proven in the peloton, used by 8 World Tour teams. There are more features than ever, including the Wahoo Summit feature, providing you with colored gradients, detailed climb data, and even helps you detect climbs nearby when you're not using a route. My favorite new feature is, which, about time. I mean, this is so awesome and logical, the music control. So you're out there, I don't know, listening to the new Zach Bryan record, which I probably have listened to, 250 times since it came out on the 4th of July. That's no shit. I do skip over one song. I won't say which song it is. If I had my element on, I'd be able to skip over that song easily without grabbing my phone. They also have GoPro control, so that makes every ride more engaging by controlling your music and also capturing epic footage via Wahoo's GoPro integration. As I said, it is used by 8 teams in the Pro Peloton. Now you can save 20% off on select full-price products by using the coupon code THEMOVE 2024 at checkout. Go during the tour, go to wahoofitness.com/TheMove. The code is THEMOVE2024. That saves you 20% off. Also today brought to you by Ekoi. You guys probably saw our ride up the Independence Pass the other day. By the way, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. That was the best time I've ever done up Independence Pass.
Was it really?
Yep. because I was a domestique extraordinaire.
You were.
For Mr. Hincapie, and I clearly don't ride it much because I did not know.
And you lied about the distance to the top.
I was messing with you. But, after all these years of me yelling at George, telling him, speed it up, well, he had his day. Yep. But if you look at the images all over our socials, how sick did we look in that Ekoi Gara helmet? I mean, that's the sexiest helmet out there.
Yeah.
And it feels great. Huh?
It feels great.
Yep.
Breathable. Light.
Yep. You see some of these helmets now. I'm like, what happened? What happened? It is one of the few brands that truly develops its products in close collaboration with professional athletes across all these disciplines like road cycling, triathlon, gravel, and mountain bike. Also, too, it is the most represented brand in this Tour de France. 4 teams wearing the products: Israel Premier Tech, Lotto Destiny, Arkea, and Team Cofidis. Exclusively available. And the only way you can find the products is over at their website, Ekoi, EKOI.com, Ekoi.com. Entire Ekoi website is currently on sale until the end of July with discounts of up to 60%. It's hard to find better deals. Special offer with the code THEMOVE. You get $15 off any purchase of $150 made on Ekoi.com until the end of July. Well, a couple of things. My heart went out to we love Matteo Jorgenson on this show. Everybody knows that. He knows that. He rode a hell of a race. He, by the way, was pulling the whole day. I thought when I saw him pulling on the penultimate climb, I thought, well, they're playing a team game here. He's setting something up, and then he launched his own attack very early on Isola 2000. By the way, that was the steepest. That was the place to go because that was the steepest section of the climb. We thought he had it, and Tadej Pogačar had
all those guys
had other thoughts.
All those guys know that climb really well. It's right outside of Nice, or a couple hours away. They go there for altitude training. They've all ridden it. Matteo's done a ton of camps there, and like I mentioned earlier, I don't see why UAE works so hard to keep them so close. It's at this point, it's getting a little bit greedy, in my opinion. He didn't need another stage win. Of course, he probably wanted to pay the team back and give them that win. But man, for us Americans to watch that, thinking the race was over, Matteo was going to win, epic stage win, Queen stage for an American cyclist, revitalize the whole sport. It was just, for me, super sad to watch that. And I know you have a strong stance as well, Lance. And by the way, Johan disagrees with me. Johan said, why shouldn't he win? His team was up there working. My point is, why put your team up to work that hard? For what reason? They've been working hard for 3 weeks. You're going to get the same time whether you win the stage or not. He's going to drop those guys. I just don't see. I don't see the point.
Right. Well, let me make this really simple for you. All right, your view on this has not changed in 20 years.
Nope.
25 years. Hasn't changed.
No.
And as much as I love Johan, his view on this also has not changed in 20 or 25 years. All right. Now, here's my opinion. My view has changed. I've been in that position. I have said to myself, hey, it's a bike race. We had a start line. We had a finish line. I got numbers on my back. I want to win a stage. Maybe even down to maybe there's financial incentives for winning stages. Hey, this is paper. Yeah. It's paper.
Yeah.
We talking about paper. My view has totally changed. When I watch that, and y'all can sit at home, say whatever you want, think whatever you want. How dare he comment on this? Well, you know what? You're right. I am uniquely suited, I believe, to comment on this. And I will say this. What we saw today, and I want to make this very clear, was the biggest mistake he's made in his entire career.
Oh.
I promise you, the other teams don't want to see it.
Yep.
The fans, keep in mind, these aren't a bunch of Slovenian fans out there.
Yeah.
It's easy to get stuck on your island and say, man, my folks at home are going to love this. Yes, they're going to love it. Right? Meanwhile, you've got Remco Evenepoel from Belgium, arguably one of the most influential countries in cycling. You've got Jonas Vingegaard, a two-time champ from a country like Danish who's cycling crazy. You're in France. You've got the French media. This, I promise you, this is a massive mistake. It was unnecessary. And I can hear all the arguments of, hey, it's a race. I said it the other day. I will say it again. Yes, it's a bike race, but this is also a political campaign. Don't give these people a reason to hate you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. Don't give them a reason to hate you. And if that's too strong for you, don't give them a reason to not like you. And I'll go a step further. And this is the most important part. Don't give them a reason to question you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of don't want to know. And I do not have a soapbox to stand on when it comes to anything like that. Just don't give him a reason to question your greatness. And he did today. Biggest mistake of his career.
I'm looking at it more from a personal stance. Obviously, we love Matteo.
Of course.
We wanted him to win. I don't understand the tactics of UAE. Why they've been working their asses off for 3 weeks. Why make them suffer even more today for a stage one? Yeah, I get it. He can attack on the final climb. He can attack Remco. He can drop Remco. He can drop Vingegaard to have more of a cushion for the time trial. But come on, put your whole team on the front. After they're working their asses off, a stage win for him today is inconsequential. Doesn't mean anything. In the overall picture, it doesn't mean nothing to him. The time, yes, it means something, but winning the stage, it has no relevance, in my opinion.
I'm gonna share something I've never shared before to the entire world. Maybe Johan knows this story. We're in the 2000 tour, and everybody at this point in 2024, you know who I worked with and who trained me, and it was the highly, probably the most controversial trainer of all time, Michele Ferrari. Had his faults, but brilliant, right? Year 2000, we go up Pogačar. I ride away from Pantani and Ulrich. I win by 4 minutes, beat them by 4 minutes. I get in the team bus afterwards, and I see a text message on my phone. It says, huge mistake.
Really?
He wasn't talking about tactics.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about race fatigue. He wasn't talking about, he said, huge mistake. And that's it, right? And whether or not y'all want to hear this, I don't know. I don't really care. It was a huge mistake.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna be hearing a lot more about it in the next couple of days. I agree with you.
If you got the race, you don't need to.
I mean, he's winning by over 3 minutes coming into today's stage. Has a team to protect him on dangerous stages. Will always be there protected. I get it. Like I said earlier, wants to get a little bit more of a cushion, but what he did today was just.
I mean, Johan said yesterday he clearly saw that Visma changed their tactics because basically Jonas was conceding, right? So that's why they're going for a stage win like they did today. If there's any kind of respect between Visma and UAE, they would see that. It's like,
well, maybe they hate each other. And
I do
that
think
could be the thing where the teams just do not like each other. I've seen some interviews already where the guys from Visma are saying UAE is already copying us in a bunch of stuff. For instance, one example was in the last couple of years, they've had a ton of staff on the side of the road, making sure that they got bottles whenever they needed them, like 15 to 20 staff on the side of the road. UAE never had that. Well, this year they have it. And they have, similar setup now that Visma Lisa Bike has. So maybe there is a bit of an animosity building between the teams, and they're like, you know what, we're not going to give any gifts. We don't like these guys, and we're going to crush them.
I think that's right. Yeah. I think we're starting to see, which I think is healthy for sport, right? A nice little rivalry and two teams that want to go at each other. But this is not like any other sport.
No.
This is, people ask me all the time, golly gee, what's it like to ride the tour? And I say, well, it's a marathon meets NASCAR meets a political campaign, and it lasts 3 weeks. And if you can't manage all of those things, it's hard. And so I can't stress enough the sort of political and goodwill part. Look, I hear you. I mean, we had folks watching with us today said, they don't follow the sport. Like, what's the big deal? This guy's the best in the world and he just won again. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Yeah, in some sports, and just having, I have been there, and I should have stated this. I'm a Tadej Pogačar fan, right? As his fan and as his supporter, I'm watching this going, don't do it, because I'm your fan, right? And I want the best for you. That was a mistake. I think I've already said that.
Let's add to the disappointment. I know it's a slightly different scenario, but it's also the same. A year ago, on stage 12, we saw Matteo Jorgenson get nipped by Michael Woods.
Yeah.
Right. So your point, you're wanting him to get a stage win.
Similar heartbreak, but totally different dynamic. Right. That was, he just didn't have the legs to follow, which he freely admitted.
I mean, let's think about that breakaway, the composition of that breakaway. Carapaz, Simon Yates, Kelderman, Matteo Jorgenson. Was there one more?
There was a Cofidis kid in there.
Gail Martin, I think. But anyway, these guys are like the best climbers, stage racers in the world. And Tade's just keeping them at like 3.5, 4 minutes, just like basically playing with their balls and saying, you know what, we can catch you when we need to. But it's just, you just don't really, it's rare to see that in cycling that a breakaway like that would not make it to the end. And just heartbreaking for American cycling.
And you knew they only had about 4 minutes, I think, at the start of the climb. It's a very long climb. You just start doing the math, right? And when it came down to 2.5, 3 minutes, I mean, Tadej Pogačar, these are hard climbs. They're long. They're at the end of a very, very difficult tour. And the math goes like this. Can he make up 30 seconds a kilometer? The answer is absolutely yes, right? So that means you could make up 5 or 6 minutes if he went as hard as he possibly could. That wasn't enough time gap.
Yeah.
Didn't
you speculate that Pogačar would go up there, put the time in, but still give away the win?
I mean, there was well, certainly a possibility. You could and I'm not in the race, but he could have caught Jorgensen, stayed with him, and then just sort of pushed him ahead. I've been there. I've been in a lot of these situations, folks. I mean, you go back and you remember. Since I don't remember much, but Pantani. I know it was on the Ventoux, and Pantani and I were there, and I let him win the stage. He wasn't happy about that. He felt like that was an underhanded slap.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel good either. The best thing to do is to just ride with your team and.
Yeah, and Jorgensen.
You're going to stand on the top step in Nice. That's your victory.
Yeah, that's your victory. Jorgensen was clearly disappointed at the end, like you mentioned, JB. Second place, or similar thing happened last year in stage 9. And he rode the absolute perfect race. I mean, think about how hard he had to go in the beginning of the race to get in that breakaway. All the work he did during the breakaway. And then right away from guys like Carapaz and all these guys, just handily rode away from them. He couldn't have done a better race. He did absolutely the perfection of a race and still couldn't do it.
We'll keep talking about it. By the way, that wasn't enough for you today. Tomorrow's even harder. We're going to talk about tomorrow. I mean, and when I was watching it happen, just selfishly, I said, I don't think Tadej's listening to the move. I don't think.
Yeah,
We might see this again tomorrow.
I wonder what Alan Piper's saying.
And the time
I can guarantee you what Alan Piper's saying.
Yeah.
Alan Piper is a wise, sage man. He's been around this sport for either as a racer or a director for 40 plus years. I can tell you exactly what he's saying. He's worried. We'll talk about that in a second and also talk about tomorrow. Today's show also brought to you by Ketone IQ. We often hear that fasting and exercise are good for the brain. HVMN launched the world's first drinkable ketone in 2017. Ketone IQ is their latest innovation on ketones with better taste, effectiveness, and cost, aka paper. Ketone IQ delivers clean fuel that can cross the blood-brain barrier, supplying your brain and body sustained energy, focus, and sharpness. Also, Ketone IQ has a partnership with Visma Lisa Bike, doing a bunch of research in and around ketones too. Also, I maintain when Adam Yates is pulling today, I do think that is Michael Brandt's doppelganger with a beard. Is nobody else seeing that?
I'm not.
30% off your first subscription. Let me try that one more time. 30% off your first subscription order plus a free 6-pack when you use the link ketone.com/themove. Also today brought to you by 8 Sleep. At this point, I'm sure you've heard of 8 Sleep. Their buzzworthy sleep technology called The Pod can be added to your existing mattress like a fitted sheet to automatically cool down or warm up each side of your bed and in turn improve your sleep quality dramatically. And in fact, the research studies show, I want you to listen to this, it is clinically proven to give you an extra hour of quality sleep every single night. Now, I went to bed last night at 9 o'clock. That's probably why I'm firing today. And I got up at 6. and I slept like a rock. That's 9 hours. Pretty amazing. And check it out. And I sleep with earplugs, so I'm not sure if I was snoring. But for those snore heavy nights, the pod can detect your snoring and automatically lift your head by a few degrees to improve airflow and stop you or your partner's snoring, aka your husband's, because only men snore. And I do think that's right. Liz, do you ever snore? No. She looks at me like I'm nuts. Like, no. Head on over to 8sleep.com/TheMove. Use the code TheMove to get $350 off the Pod 4 Ultra. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. They currently ship to the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Europe, and Australia. Down under. Do you know the difference between a French kiss and an Australian kiss, mate?
No.
Well, mate, basically the same kiss, except one of them's down under.
Oh, God.
Oh, my.
We are in the third week, folks. This is what happens. This is what happens in the third week.
And we are on NBC today. Peacock.
Hello, Peacock. Can't say bad words. We can say funny jokes. I didn't say a bad word. God, I haven't said one bad word yet.
One piece of good news is that Jorgenson did slip back into the top 10 overall. He's in 9th place.
That.
Derek G, who Johan just pointed out, is now in 8th place overall. So good for North American cycling. We have a Canadian and American in the top 10.
Derek G.
When was the last time we saw that? Like 2 North Americans in the top 10.
Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer, Johan.
Where's our local propeller head? Spencer.
And I think we also need to kind of discuss the emotions we saw.
You know, we got one more.
You got business? All right, go ahead.
You're part of it, so I hope.
George is amped up. He's excited.
George, guess who's back?
Who?
Our friends at the Feed are back to keep us hydrated and fueled throughout the entire Tour de France.
Mosca.
Now, listen, here's the thing about the Feed. I say it every year. The Feed has been with us for a long time.
Yes, they have.
And I literally kick myself that I did not think of this idea because I actually think it's perfectly amazing and logical.
We are both kicking ourselves.
I mean, how much you like eating the same silly stuff every day, day in, day out? I mean, we're just cracking stupid jokes because we're getting tired after 3 weeks. Imagine eating the same stuff.
Agreed. The Feed needs to be sending all these guys these care packages that we're getting. They'd be a lot better off.
Well, the Feed is back. For those who don't know, it's the largest online marketplace for sports nutrition. You can pretty much buy whatever you want.
Yep, I love I can buy single serves of everything. When I get my Feed box, I usually get a couple of different gels, a couple of different hydration options. It's all different, and I love it.
The Feed will have some pretty great deals for all 21 stages of the tour, starting with the Tour de France pack.
I just got mine. I got 10, 11 products. Some of my favorites in there. Pillar Magnesium, which you see here in front of me. Also got a bunch of Honey Stinger stuff that we've been using a bunch on the rides. It's been great.
Yep, that's right. So I'm better at math than George, right? So here's the deal. You get 11 products for $21. That's about 50% off. And you get the Feed Musette bag and a limited edition tour bottle. All you got to do is head over to thefeed.com. You'll see the pack, and that's thefeed.com. What were you about to say?
No, I think we should kind of discuss the emotions that we saw Vingegaard going through at the top of the climb.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were wondering why. I feel like I kind of have I suspect why he was so emotional. A couple of different reasons. One, probably thinking of everything he's been through this year. I mean, almost died, was in the ICU, fighting for second place at the Tour de France. But I think more and perhaps more important is maybe he's thinking, am I ever going to be able to beat him? Because he's at his best level right now. He said he's done his best numbers he's ever done. And today he lost almost 2 minutes when he's clearly recovered from his accident. Yes, it's a miracle that he's there racing, that he's there in second place. But I'm wondering in the back of his mind, he's like, how can I get better than what I am right now?
Well, I agree with that.
I'm wondering if he's saying, am I never going to win the Tour de France again?
I agree with that. If I could, I'd love to come over the top. I agree with that, all that. But then if you go to the way today unfolded, and folks and kids and whoever's following cycling, that was textbook bike racing for a team like Visma. You put 2 guys in the break. You have a chance for your leader and Jonas Vingegaard to attack Tadej Pogačar, go across to 1 or 2 of those guys. I mean, it's textbook tactics. They did it perfectly, and he couldn't go, right? You had UAE setting a tempo that, for all we know, had him on the limits, right? To your point of like, oh my God, this is as good as I can be. and I cannot attack. So my team, my guys they've executed the plan perfectly, but I can't finish the plan.
Yeah.
And all the while you're thinking that in your head, like, am I capped at 2? Yeah.
And he was sitting layered on Remco's wheel.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting there going, Remco's coming up too. What's he going to be like next year? I mean, Jonas was just on his wheel today.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back to what we said at the top of the show. You don't make mistakes like that. Mistakes like that come back around. I mean, fear not, Jonas Vingegaard. You've had a terrible season. He can still improve. Yes, this is, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we made all these analogies or comparisons early in the tour. Would you take the deal 10 days in? You're only 2 minutes down. Of course he would. Would he take the deal he's sitting at right now? He might say no, because the deal he would have taken had him only down 2 minutes, but then had him leading. So that's not the deal anymore.
Yeah.
And he's exhausted. I think everybody in this peloton is exhausted. And when you're that tired, emotions come up easier, and he's cracking, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But
there's the theory, I think you brought it up, George, that some people think he just wanted to get the polka dot back. But
no, I don't.
I know.
When you win,
because
when
it went to Carapaz. I know.
You win the Tour de France.
I think it's silly.
It's that's all. Everything underneath that is a loss. Like I said, he's happy to be there, I'm sure, but now he's starting to think like, am I ever going to be able to win this thing again?
He's got. He might be thinking that. I would get rid of that thought pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, just put it behind you. Again, we do have another demanding day tomorrow, but assume it stays the same. Put it behind you and get ready for 2025.
These guys know the numbers in the training well, and you remember how hard we trained. There's many times. Well, in fact, every time you think, well, I can't train any harder than I already do. I can't sacrifice my life any more than I already have for the last years. Like, what can you do differently to be able to match this?
George, the Tour de France is not contested on Strava.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The Tour de France is contested human to human. So who knows what people are going to be like in 2025? I would factor in the numbers, but the humans still have to show up and compete.
Well, the way things are trending with
but who knows?
crashes,
yeah,
you don't know who's healthy.
You don't know if somebody peaks, sort of just starts to peak out. And so I would keep his head up if I were him. Yeah, I was going to say something. You talked about the polka dot jersey. My favorite jersey. I love this jersey. But I do think it's cool. Everybody threw me shade and just, we're glad handing Sir Bradley Wiggins, because he called it and he's right. And I'm oftentimes wrong. So even he sent it to me yesterday. He told me, "What did I tell you?" He WhatsApped me and said, "What did I tell you?" And he's right. But look, if you're Carapaz, you're not just wearing the polka dot jersey, you're leading the competition, which I think is great. And if you're that team, right, you have the yellow jersey for a day. You potentially are going to win the polka dot jersey in Nice, and you want a stage. That's an A+ tour.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, on the podium in Nice, massive deal for that team and Carapaz, and it's a great candidate to be in the polka dot jersey. One of the best climbers in the world, Olympic champion. I mean, you want to see somebody like that be in that jersey.
I tell you, I don't know who Ecuador picked to go to the Olympics, because I think they get one pick.
Navarez.
Who?
Navarez.
Okay, I don't know who they picked, but let me tell you something. He better be ready, because Carapaz is starting to ride good, and he's the Olympic champion, and he was not selected. So whoever the Ecuadorian is that gets to go, my friend,
he no panic cooking either.
I understand may not be a panic cooking, but you replace the defending Olympic champion. That says a lot.
Yeah, I was wondering if Carapaz was going to do the Vuelta, like he's peaking, but I don't see it on the schedule. Not that that's accurate, but.
All right. What's going on at the Open? I know we have a lot of golf fans. Look, here's my man, Tommy Fleetwood. I love Tommy. Oh, shoot, 5 over. Shane Lowry having a hell of a first 2 days. 7 under, drops to 16.
Wrong sport. What about tomorrow? Let's pull up tomorrow's profile.
Let's look at tomorrow's profile, because it's just...
Another tough day. Shorter stage, 130K.
And the same kind of thing as we did yesterday. If you just go total, Col de Braus, Col de Turini. By the way, Braus and Turini, those are in the backyard of Nice. Like
exactly, right outside of Nice.
I spent my whole career living in Nice. I mean, if I had $1 for every time I rode Col de Turini, I would not be sitting here right now. That's not true. I totally would be sitting here right now. But Braus, Turini, come on down, Comien, and then the finish up, however we need to land for that. But look, 10K, 20K, 7.5K, 50. I mean, in total, you have a 132 kilometer stage.
So are they going on the coast
30.
road towards to Braus, or do we know how they're getting there? Because that's like super windy, hilly.
Can be very, super technical.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going along the coast.
Tough day. I think it was, I have to go look at the race.
At the finish there.
Isn't this the...
Yeah, they are. They're going... So they're going to go... Yeah, they're going to go... Oops, I'm not on the mic, but they're going right towards... They're going through... Are they going through Monaco tomorrow? Because it looks like it.
132 kilometers, 4,600 meters of
I just
climbing.
rode the Col de Braus last month when I was there. Spectacular climb. It's going to be fun to watch that.
Yeah, Turini...
And you know what?
For y'all that are up early enough, the Turini is beautiful. I mean, I don't know how much I'll look at the helicopter shots, but it is a beautiful climb if you're looking down on it.
Yeah. Go back to the profile, because as Americans, we still have hope for a stage win. And like I just told Matteo that everybody's dead right now. The same guys are going to be similar guys, like I mentioned a couple of days ago, are going to make the breakaway. So I'm hoping Matteo doesn't give up. He lives in Nice. These are his home roads.
Come on, baby.
He's going to want to get in that breakaway again. And let's hope he can pull one off before the end of the race.
He looked amazing today.
He did.
He I mean, you could say maybe he went a little early, but as we acknowledged, that was the steepest part of the climb. If he can have another day like today, if I'm him and he strike, you know him a lot better than me, George. He strikes me as a guy who is highly motivated and has a very good memory.
Yep.
And Matteo, if you're listening, man, go to bed tonight. Do not forget this.
Yeah.
Right, wake up tomorrow. These are your home roads. You got 4,600 meters. You got a short stage. Fudge them.
He won Paris-Nice, so he's been successful on these roads before.
You know, and for Johan and Spencer on outcomes, I mean, I wonder what the odds are on Matteo. Whatever the odds are on Matteo, I'll drop some money on that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when I watched his post-race interview from last year too, he said, "I'm pissed."
Yeah.
So I want to see a pissed Matteo.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Well, you want to see a pit. George is, and of course, we're journalists here. We have the highest of journalistic integrities. George has his sources that comment to him off the record, so we cannot repeat these because, again, we maintain these standards. But did you see his response?
I did not see.
That's a man who's pissed.
And other people are probably not too happy.
I think
they aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, JB.
Hey, tomorrow's show, Bobby Julick's going to join us.
Oh, that's right.
Bobby
That's
Julick
right.
It's very important.
That's right.
Those, like, George knows him probably best because you both live in Greenville and ride together all the time, but he is a numbers kind of person, and he trains a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
I'm super curious about just the specific type of training. I'm sure a lot of people are like, what has changed to get to this level and to produce these numbers and to ride this fast? And I'll say it again, I'm not talking about anything else. People do want to hear about that or ask us about that. We're not talking about that. But at the end of the day, you still have to train. Like, what are the specific workloads that these guys do? Because something's enabling them to go that fast, which I by the way, I think is great.
Yeah.
it'll be an interesting conversation tomorrow. Do not miss it. And before we do the Ventum trivia, little reminder, thewhiteline.org.
Yep.
This is the ride in Boulder.
Yep.
It's more of a rally. This is like, it sounds like you could show up on a BMX or a city bike and be fine. It's not about, you know, the distance of the bike. It's more of a rally for awareness. We talked to Michael White, who lost his son Magnus White just about a year ago, almost exactly. So August 11th in Boulder, it's really going to generate a lot of talk and get a lot of eyeballs on infrastructure. So
I had a lot of friends reach out after we had Michael on. And I'll be honest, I mean, most of my friends have teenage kids or slightly older kids. I mean, it's a hard story to hear.
Yeah.
And some people were really affected by it, and as you would be. So I appreciate that, and they've had a lot of support due to it. So that is awesome.
All right. And on Sunday's show, after the last show for this tour, Dia from Ventum will be here to draw a name for a brand new NS1.
Is he going to bring some cologne? Every year he brings George cologne.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let me tell you something. You know who wears some
carry it
cologne?
around, too.
We mentioned Sir Bradley Wiggins. That boy wears cologne. It's like I went and checked his room. I was like, no, it's a shower in there. I thought maybe there was a bathtub in there and he was just bathing.
He set off the smoke alarm one day.
He set off the smoke alarm one day.
Cologne or blow drying
something. He was blow drying his hair. He burned it. Oh, wow. But that boy smells good.
Ventum trivia. Yesterday's question was, it's widely known that Remco Evenepoel was a soccer player before his cycling career. What other endurance event did he compete in 2016? Bonus if you know the time. That was the Brussels Half Marathon in a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes. 13th overall.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I knew I'd heard some of his 5K times. I didn't know he did a half. So 116, you got a 232 marathon. You know, you're running 540 pace for a guy who probably doesn't run very much.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fast.
That's fast.
Today's-
Can he swim?
Right?
Can he swim? All you try nerds out there, watch out. Because if the boy can at least dog paddle, you're screwed. You're going to ride fast. It's fast. Fast, good runner.
Today's question, name 5 American cyclists, men and women, competing in the road race and time trials in the upcoming Paris Olympics.
Oh.
I'll give you a hint. One of them we talked about today. All right. VentumRacing.com/TheMove. Submit your answer. Good luck. Couple questions for you guys. And this is really related. This is good timing. I'm enjoying following the show. My question is about cross-training and running with the mention of Remco as a runner. Where does cross-training or running fit into a pro training's plan, if at all? I imagine their plans are not 100% cycling.
Well, we have, as we just said, we've got Bobby coming on tomorrow. I'm sure he has insight into that. I can tell you in our day, it had no place. I mean, we did very little bit, but maybe that's something that's also evolved and changed.
Yeah, for sure. Some of these guys are running. I heard Primos was running during the tour a couple of years ago. Quinn Simmons, I trained with him last year. He did like a 7-hour ride, and he's like, I'm going to take it easy for a couple of days, but I'm going to go for like a 45-minute run. Like we would never, not even consider walking to restaurants. We'd be like, that's a waste of energy. But these guys are running. A lot of these guys are running now while they're doing heavy workloads of training on the bike.
A little known fact, Fausto Coppi, right? The great Italian cyclist. If he got to a hotel, of course, this was probably before the day and age of elevators. If he got to a hotel and he had to take the stairs up to his room, he wouldn't stay there. That's a true story. Just keep going. No. Or somebody was downstairs. You're out of your room. I'm taking yours. I'm not doing these stairs. That's a true story.
Here's another one. Hi, guys. Should Ballerini, who is currently Lanterne Rouge in the race, that's in last, should he race ahead of Cavendish, who is 1 minute ahead of him on time, at the end of the stages over the next 2 days, so that Cav can be last in time and start the TT first?
I wondered where they were going with this, because it didn't sound like this didn't even sound like an idea. But now that you finished it,
wouldn't that be cool? And this is from Chris in Los Angeles.
They're not going to let him go a minute up the road. The only way to make that happen is if Cav sits up by a minute.
Yeah,
right. It's just kind of, and this one's kind of a fun one. Lance has been mocking soccer players faking injuries to secure penalties.
Yeah.
When Victor Campenaerts was interviewed after winning stage 18, he mentioned that he was playing it a bit dirty, pretending to be hurting in order to avoid taking equal pulls so he could save his legs for the finish. Is this not the equivalent of taking a dive in soccer? That's
No,
No, it is not. No, it is not. It's totally different.
Totally different.
No, that's strategy.
That's strategy.
That's a bluff. I mean, that's the equivalent. I can't believe we're still talking about soccer. I mean, this is, but that's the equivalent of your team, giving up a couple points and just sandbagging and then coming back on somebody. I think, why are we talking about?
You get no credit for doing more work in a breakaway. Zero credit. You get credit for winning the race. So it's good on him that he actually held back and played that card, because that's the smart thing to do.
I want to see that interview. I mean, imagine. Okay, all right. You got Victor Campenarts with the porn stash, and he says, "I was just playing it dirty." I mean, come on, that's so good. We did not see that interview.
No, we got to.
Maybe that was in some other language that he speaks a lot of languages. Before we go, though, I always really admire George and.
Oh goodness, where are we going here? Should I stay or?
And he is a man about town. I am a complete what do you call it? Like a hermit, stay inside. But he's out and about last night and runs into this lady, nice lady, and a follower of the show. She listens, she watches
for 10 years,
and she cuddles up, and she's with her husband or whatever. And cuddles up to George, and I love the show, and and just so you know, if you're ever looking not just for a jizzy, but a yizzy, we got you covered.
Jizzy to the yizzy.
All right, the jizzy. We all know the jizzy's the jet.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't new one is a new thing. The yizzy is the yacht.
Oh,
the family had a jizzy.
We almost got offered a ride to Eritrea from that person, so we'll see.
I mean, why don't we? The Eritrea is on the water. Why don't you tell these people? Yes, we'll jizzy over there, but get the yizzy on the water,
on the Red Sea.
But these people there, can you believe this? That like beautiful people of Aspen come up to George and offer jizzies and yizzies.
You saw it.
Yeah,
while I'm at home
last night,
I made like a pan pizza by myself and sipping a Sprite, watching the RNC, Hulk Hogan, Kid Rock, Dana White, and you're out
like
soliciting
I mentioned to you
yizzies.
And Jake last night, I'm in the field promoting the show. I'm always working. All right, we got to get out there amongst the people. They want to see you too.
Yet again, evidence that it is almost over. 3 weeks. All right, we'll get another big day tomorrow.
Yeah,
we will. We cannot ignore tomorrow. Again, it's a bike race. It all counts, and we're supposed to be impartial. But you know what? I'm not. Matteo Jorgenson, you go to bed tonight. Get yourself a nice, solid night of sleep. Do not forget what happened today, and you go out and you kick their ass tomorrow.
He's going in the break again tomorrow.
Amen.
Guaranteed.
Amen.
Eat an extra
you know
bowl
what?
of that
I was
ice
not
cream.
interested today. I will be front row tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, Matteo.
Vamos.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.